Thank you. So, hello everybody. Good evening. So I will kick this off with AI ML part, or more specifically, it will be more Gen AI part, because if you've watched Train Event, most of the AI ML announcements were actually towards Gen AI. So it will be particularly bedrock heavy, yeah, this will be more about this. So let's kick this off with sort of recap of actually how the Gen AI stack of AWS looks like. So what the landscape is that we will be actually talking about. At the bottom, we have a layer of some managed infrastructure. So purpose-built chips and instances for training and inference called Trainium and Inferentia. Instances with GPUs, again, to run AI ML workloads, not just AI ML workloads, but stuff like that. And of course, the whole infrastructure around SageMaker. So tools which help you to actually deliver your ML pipelines and just help you to train and deliver the models. This is usually used by companies where the AI ML is sort of centerpiece of their stack. They need maximum flexibility, and they are okay with actually paying the price of basically managing most of the infrastructure themselves. So they want maximum flexibility. They want to customize the stack as much as possible. On top of it, we have Amazon Bedrock, so the mid layer, which is a serverless, fully managed service that allows you to run multiple large language models or foundational models. This is for companies who want to use these models in their products. They want to have quite a big flexibility in terms of how you can use it, but you don't want to basically manage the infrastructure underneath. So you just don't have to deal with things like instances, drivers, operating systems, and so on. You basically use just the APIs. And well, on top of this, we have Q for Business and Q Developer, which are purpose-built applications for companies who just want to use and leverage Gen AI. Q Business is a tool for companies who want to have internal assistant which takes into account their own data. For example, can use your own policies, just like insert it, and you have an assistant which takes your data into account and responds with the knowledge of your internal policies. So when somebody asks what is the policy for taking PTO in Azerbaijan, it will tell you. And Q4 Developer is an assistant with software development lifecycle. Somebody would say it's a coding assistant. It aims to be much more than that. And actually there are some cool announcements in Q Developer, which I will cover later, so you will see that it's really something more than just a coding assistant. So this is the landscape, what we will be talking about. As I said, it will be Gen AI heavy. So now let's get to the announcements. The first one, yes, was, and to me, probably the most important one in terms of Bedrock is a new family of models called Amazon Nova. They were announced, I think, during Andy Jesse's keynote, and they are a brand new family of models built by Amazon. There are two groups. One is the understanding models, which is just different term for models that output text, and then models, creative content generation models, so models which output, in case of Canvas, images, in case of Real, videos. If you are experimenting with new models, I would definitely recommend to try these out. According to benchmarks, they are very much competitive with the models of similar sizes. What's the competitive edge is that they run on top of Trainium 2 instances, and they can offer better price for the same performance. So it can be a very cost-effective option for your workloads. The understanding models come in 4 sizes, from micro to Premier. When micro is just text-to-text, this is a very simple model for simple chatbots. All the rest are multimodal, so they are image-to-text, video-to-text, and of course text-to-text as well. I personally use the Pro model instead of Anthropic models right now. It's, yeah, as I said, very competitive or very similar in performance to these. And especially, I would recommend to try out Nova Reel. This is like fun to actually generate some videos. So these are the new models from Amazon. There are some other models or other new models coming as well. I don't have a slide for them, but maybe you've seen models from Poolside, which are actually good as coding assistants. They are very good at generating synthetic data for tests. Ray 2 models from Luma, they are for video generation, so they should be more quick in generating videos than the others. And then new models from Stability AI, which are models for generating images. So, a bunch of new models available in Bedrock. What's next? As I said, it will be Bedrock focused. So the next batch of features is focused on Bedrock performance. So how to improve performance of the models or make inference cheaper. First one is latency optimized inference, which means that some models, and by some I mean specifically Haiku 3.5, were optimized to run on top of Trainium 2 instances, and because of that, they are very quick in with response. If you want to use it, you just specify a specific parameter. So inference is not standard, but I think it's optimized or something like that, and you are benefiting from that. There's a very small premium in pricing, but the performance is the best you can get out of these models. Intelligent prompt routing allows you to have one endpoint where you send your prompts, and this endpoint or router routes your prompts to more models. Or specifically, it routes the prompt to the model which should be performing the best. The idea behind this is that you might have models which are more capable than the others, like more smart and less smart. Of course, the more smart models are usually more expensive and slower. So you want to use them only for complex prompts. You don't want to use them for something very simple. So that's why we have the intelligent prompt routing. So your prompts are routed to the right model. So far, it's in preview, and from what I remember right now, it was available to roll between Claude 3.5, Sonnet, and Haiku. And then from the 2 Llama models, the biggest one, this is the 400 parameters and one of the smaller ones. But long term, there should be actually more models coming. And last one, prompt caching. This is probably self-explanatory. So you can cache some prompts and the responses, and if another prompt comes which matches the cached prompt, you can get the response from the cache. So you are saving a latency because the response will be quicker, and you are saving money because you are not calling the model, you are just calling the cache. So performance optimizations. What's next? Similar feature, which is targeted to some sort of performance optimizations as well, is model distillation. You might actually heard about this quite a lot because of the DeepSeek. So what does it mean? Let's imagine a situation that you want to have a coding assistant which is super great at, for example, debugging Python or something like that. So you try out different models in Bedrock, and you figure out that there is some huge model which can actually do this for you. It performs very well, but it is a huge model, so it's usually slow, and it's quite expensive. So what you can do, what you can try to do, is to actually take this specific knowledge of the large model and transfer it to a smaller model which will be more performant and probably cheaper. Normally, previously, before the model distillation was available, you could do this simply by fine-tuning the model. So you would need to find some example prompts, example responses, and just fine-tune the model and hope for a good result. Model distillation basically streamlines this process. So it can help you to basically work with the larger model, the teacher model. You can generate some synthetic data, synthetic prompts for the task that you want to teach the student model, and then it does the fine-tuning in the background, and you simply end up with a distilled model, which should have the specific knowledge that you wanted to distill out of the teacher model. And the resulting model should have very similar performance as the original smaller student model. So again, a way how to actually save money and have a quicker response times, reduce some latency. Another feature which was actually added to Bedrock was response evaluation, or not specifically response evaluation, but two features to that, which is LLM as judge and RAG evaluation. This goes hand in hand with the philosophy of Bedrock that we believe that there will be a lot of smaller or purpose-built models that will be used for a specific task, that there won't be one huge model actually doing everything. And if we want to have multiple models, we need to evaluate which model performs better. We had already evaluations in Bedrock actually last year, but if you wanted to do them, you could do it with, say, human intervention. So you would be simply looking at the results, and you would be saying, okay, this one performs better, and just like you simply look and feel like what's better, and then just choose it. Or you could use a programmatic approach, which was based on basically matching some prefixes. So you knew what should be the output approximately, and you are trying to match it. Now, what you can do is that you can use another model, usually some large, very smart model, to be used as a judge. So if you are evaluating two small models, for example, you will be evaluating Haiku versus Amazon Nova Micro, something like that. Then you can use Llama, some large Llama, to actually evaluate the results. Again, this simplifies the process. It makes it, you can use much larger data sets because the model can do it in a matter of minutes. If you have a data set with a few thousand prompts, then if you want to do it just manually, you would spend several days on it. So this is LLM as judge. Another feature which was added to this that you can be evaluating your RAG setup. So retrieval augmented generation, if you have a setup where the model is connected to a knowledge base and it should be responding with the knowledge from the knowledge base, taking into account this data, you can use, again, either another language model or the techniques that I've mentioned previously to evaluate the responses, if they are factually correct, if they contain all the data, if the model is not hallucinating, and to just figure out if your knowledge base is set up in the way that it should be. Because if you see that the model is not responding well, maybe your embeddings are not computed correctly, and so on. So yeah, two features to the response evaluation. Both basically aiming to automate the processes which were somehow possible even before, but now it's more streamlined, more automated. Bedrock agents. This is not, and Bedrock agents are not entirely new feature, but there are again new features coming to this tool. First is custom orchestration. So you can use lambdas to orchestrate the workflow of the agent. What does it mean is that basically you can actually implement you can implement what steps the agent should take in order to solve some problem. So you can take multiple steps. There are some techniques, tree of thoughts, plan and resolve, and so on, and you can implement this basically in Lambda. You can imagine this as sort of like state machine. So there are just some steps or states which the agent has to go through in order to resolve whatever you need to resolve. Inline agents is interesting feature that you can basically spawn an agent on the fly. So you can just there's a special API call called invoke inline agent, and just specify the agent definition there and just invoke it without defining the agent upfront. It's good for experimentation. So if you are developing a new agent, you can use this to actually rapidly try out different setups and so on. And multi-agent collaboration, this is a functionality which helps you with putting together multiple agents together. Again, goes with the philosophy that we believe there will be multiple specialized agents doing specialized things, and there might be one agent on top of it as sort of router or orchestrator. For example, if you are an insurance company, then you might have specialized agents for health insurance, car insurance, travel insurance, and something on top of it, we just wrote the prompts to the respective agent. To be the agents should be something that we will see more and more in this year. I haven't seen many production use cases in 2024, but many companies are experimenting with this right now. So to me, I think if something should be happening in this year, I would expect it will be agents. And I think this should be the last Bedrock feature that I will be mentioning today, are Bedrock guardrails. Again, guardrails itself is not a new feature. Guardrails were there all the time, or for a long time. But there are two interesting additions to the guardrails itself. Just for the record, guardrails prevent your model from doing something that you don't want the model to do. So to output the content which is not according to your expectations. I could then some reference to violence, sexuality, profanities, and so on. What was added there is, I will start from this side, the multi-model toxicity detection. So there are some areas where we can specify in the guardrails what you don't want model to output. You can see, hate, insults, and so on. This worked only for textual outputs for some time. Now, actually, you can use it for images as well. So if somebody wants to generate some violent images using your model, you can prevent them from doing this. And so this is multi-model toxicity detection. And another cool feature is automated reasoning. This is a way how to mathematically prove that responses of your model are actually correct. How does it work? It works in a way that you take your policies, your internal policies, which can be just normal text describing your internal policy, what's acceptable and what not, put it to the automated reasoning, and this distills out of it set of rules, set of mathematical rules, and then you use automated reasoning, which is actually a field of mathematics, to prove that computer systems do or don't do something, and it then evaluates the responses if they are according to your policy or not. So this is not using actually LLM in the background. It's really using a tool which doesn't guess. It really proves you that it's correct or not. So these are guardrails, and can we move to the next slide? I will intentionally skip this one because Jaroslav will be actually talking about this as well, because this is not so much Gen AI-ish, then it's more about actual analytics. And we will move to the Q developer, which is a very cool service. As I said, it started as actually Code Whisperer, which was basically a coding assistant, but now it's becoming much more. The idea behind this is that it should be helping you with your whole software development lifecycle, so it should help you to develop the code. Why I personally like this? Because it helps you to automate the boring tasks during development. And that's, in my opinion, the place where you should be actually using Gen AI the most. So what it can do? It can help you with code reviews. So when your colleague pushed just a commit with 5,000 lines and wants you to review it, you can help yourself a bit and let Q developer to do some actually pre-run on top of this and point out to some maybe problematic areas of the code and so on. So currently, I think it works in GitLabs and some specific IDEs. Definitely recommend to try this out. I always hated code reviews. Automatic unit test generation. This is, I wouldn't say it's a completely new feature, because even before you could convince Code Whisperer or Q developer to generate some unit tests for your code. If you just put there comment unit test testing something, it usually outputted something which was more or less correct. Now there is a special agent for this, which automates this even further, so it should be outputting all possible or all meaningful test cases for your code. Again, automate the boring part. I suppose that not many of you love writing unit tests. And last one, generate documentation. Again, very popular task. So you just finished your project. Now you need to document it. So now this fun can be automated. So these are a few new features in Q Developer, but there is more. Another task where you could use Q Developer is code transformations. Not all of this is completely new, but what it can actually do. At the top, we have a transformation of Java between different Java versions. I think this was actually the first feature that was there implemented, but it was probably for different versions. So if you are modernizing your application, you can use Q Developer to basically transfer the code from one version to another. This works quite well because the thing is, when you use Q Developer or any other coding assistant to write your code, one of the issues which is there is that sometimes you need to describe very well what you want the assistant to do for you. So how the function should look like, what should be the return values, and so on. And when you do this, then sometimes it's quicker to just code it yourself, because simply the assistant don't see in your head what you would like to do. But with these tasks, like the transformations, it is very obvious what's needed to be done, what you need to do. You just need to take what's there and just change it. So it returns exactly the same, but using new syntax, new classes, new interfaces. So transformations in Java. Both these two announcements are about the same. Then it allows you to port Windows applications in .NET to .NET on Linux. And the interesting one is that if you have some COBOL applications running on mainframes, then you can port them to Java apps. Not sure if anybody here has any COBOL applications, but I think all the banks are filled by this feature. And last announcement which I have is again, it's a modernization, and if you have some Oracle code, Oracle SQL, and you would like to modernize it in the way that you should transfer it to Postgres, QDeveloper can do this for you. So it can research your code for the SQL statements that belong to Oracle, and it will suggest how to rewrite these statements to Postgres. So, and with this, I am slowly getting to the end. So these were the curated set of announcements in terms of AI ML. Or as you've seen, it was mostly about Gen AI. And now will be time for your questions. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry. I know that AWS gives generous free package for startups, right? And is something of this included in that?
What kind of package do you mean, please?
I mean, the usage, I believe, for first year or something like that, when you are a startup, when you're starting up with AWS, you get a lot of VMs and storage and stuff like that.
Yeah, what you can get is there's Activate program, which gives you credits.
Yeah.
So this is basically consumption that you can use, there's some amount of consumption, and this includes any services. So basically whatever was announced there, you can use. I think there are no restrictions in terms of what usage you can use. Maybe there can be some service or marketplace could be restricted. I'm not sure about that, but definitely whatever infrastructure is in AWS can be used. Yep. Any other questions?
I have a question. So
yes.
First one would be what's your main take using Pro instead of Anthropic? Is it because Anthropic is more text-based, or you're using more data, or?
I was using mostly Anthropic because it was the best. To me, it was the best model for me to do my work, I would say. I wanted to try out Nova because I was simply curious about how it performs and how it performs compared to Anthropic, and I haven't seen much differences in the responses and so on. So it's in the end it's cheaper. If you take a look at the pricing, for that, I like to use it. And right now I'm using it more for actually to learn how to properly use it, to be honest. So of course the prompting is slightly, each model has its own ways. So the prompt engineering is slightly different.
Do you prefer that way? And Reels is text to
Reel is text to video. Currently, I think it can generate videos up to 9 seconds, which is not super long. But it's great for any sort of marketing videos and so on.
You can do like small 9, you can add pieces.
In theory, yes, but I'm not sure if you can then just concatenate them and have something like longer. I don't think that would work, to be honest.
Okay.
Haven't tried it.
And last question, you mentioned Q developer for documentation. Can you give an example? Like, I'm doing lots of projects and then I have a bunch of, like things and I spend a lot of time there. So, how do you use it? Like, if you can give some.
Where I use it is, for example, then you need to generate README for projects, what you can do is that you can distill some document out of it. It depends on how you prompt, of course, the queue or how you what is the output that you would like to have. But READMEs, any sort of like structured text that you want to have out of it. If you need API documentation, so some sort of like API reference, for that it's good. I haven't seen that somebody would be doing something like the Oxygen out of it. Maybe it would be possible, not sure. But mostly either API reference or like READMEs.
Yeah. I have a colleague that is using Q and he's pinging 80 rooms to see which one is default, so he full of the database. So I knew that one, but for documentation, I wasn't sure how to focus.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Do we have any questions in Slido? Okay, so thank you very much, Karel. Big applause for him.
Thank you.